Wonder who that could be. What the hell? So, somebody dropped this doll off at my doorstep. I have no idea who dropped it off. I have no idea. I don't know. Does it say anything? I don't know. Does it? Hmm. Think of it? Hmm. Is it?
Hi, I'm Chucky, and I wouldn't talk if I were you.
A true classic. Never goes out of style. You got your wish. You're mine now, doll. Now sit back and learn from the master.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Now the first thing we gotta do is get me out of this body once and for all. A true classic. Never goes out of style. I'll be back. I always come back.
I'll be right back, guys.
Get me out of this body once and for all. A true classic.
Better safe than sorry. Trust me. And you know what? This actually reminds me of the movie that I watched for you guys, Netflix Nights, number 22, Cult of Chucky. But before we get into it, let's see what the good folks over at Netflix have for a synopsis for us today, shall we? Following a string of murders in the asylum where she's confined, Nika Pierce begins to wonder whether Chucky is real after all. Rated R and from 2017. And you know what? The first thing that really sort of comes to mind with this is the fact that this franchise is still going strong after all these years. And, you know, a lot of these horror icons, whether you're talking about Jason, Freddy, Michael, Leatherface, all these icons, they've all had remakes and they've all had reboots. Chucky's practically the last one of those iconic sort of horror icons from the 80s and early 90s that hasn't gotten a reboot or remake yet. And I think in that way we're still following the same storyline. We're still following the same storyline over many, many, many movies. And in that way, I think it's actually really, really cool that we're still following it after all these years. And you know what? This movie came out on October 3rd. And it came out on Blu-ray and DVD, and it also ended up coming on Netflix streaming, which you can stream now. And I thought it was really weird because I thought, wouldn't you want to get the Blu-ray and DVD sales first before you end up getting the streaming stuff? But I figured maybe they realized if we're putting it all out there at once, you know, a mass amount of people will watch it, and you know, we'll get the receptive quality regardless, whether people are buying it this way or people are joining Netflix to stream it or they're doing other digital platforms, whatever. So, and I do want to stress that basically on Netflix streaming you get the R-rated cut. So you do not get the unrated cut with this on Netflix streaming. I did end up getting a chance to also watch the unrated cut as well, and there is differences, obviously blood and gore being a main one. Also just maybe little tiny sequences that are altered a little bit, maybe a little bit more longer sequences, but just not by much, very, very small. I do want to say I was really happy with Curse of Chucky. I thought Curse of Chucky was a really great movie. And you know what? I like all the Chucky films. I honestly do. I know people don't love Seed. I happen to be a fan of Seed. But it was going way too much in the comedic territory. It needed to firmly plant its feet again in the more serious slasher territory. And that's where Curse kind of came in and really, I think, reestablished Chucky in a great way. And so at the end of that movie, it definitely set itself up for a sequel. And I was curious where they were going to take it. And you know what? I like that they ended up focusing back again on the Nika character from Curse, and the fact that this film takes place 4 years after Curse ends. She's been convicted, she's in an insane asylum, and basically her life has turned to utter crap. And she believes through multiple ways of therapy, whether it's electroshock, therapist, whatever, that basically she's the one that committed these murders, that it was not the Chucky doll that did it whatsoever, and basically that she is now owned up to the fact that she is a killer. And her psychiatrist basically says, look, I'm going to take you to my hospital, or where I sort of work out of, and I'm going to monitor you more closely, and we're going to help you even more than I already could when you were at the last place. So, okay, so she does that. And basically, the psychiatrist basically is like, I bring this Chucky doll in to as a form of therapy to help you out and to help the group out, and basically everything sort of spins out of control from there. I think Fiona Dourif is great in this role. I think she's awesome. I absolutely think she's a fantastic actress, and I hope she continues to stick with this franchise. I also want to say we do get to see Jennifer Tilly. Jennifer Tilly is in this, and she is great as always. Small role, but Jennifer Tilly's absolutely fantastic. I also have to say, spoiler alert, that Alex Vincent is also in this movie. Now, he was in the end of Curse in a very small sort of cameo role. He's back again in this role, and he does an amazing job. You know, the last Chucky movie he was in was Child's Play 2. There was a different actor in Child's Play 3, and you sort of wonder to yourself, is he still good as an actor, I guess? You know, yeah, he was good as a kid actor, but can he still really carry scenes? Can he still be effective as an adult actor? And he does an awesome job in this role, coming back, playing it. I loved all the nods to the older Chucky movies. And I gotta say, Brad Dourif is still awesome as Chucky, voicing the character. And you know what? I really hope that if they do another one, that Brad ends up coming back and sort of doing it. I think at this point, he's not doing it for money anymore. He's not doing it for, you know, the fact of, you know, oh, I'm just getting a paycheck for it. I think he really does genuinely like playing this character. I think he really enjoys doing it. I think he enjoys really delving into it. And for him, it's sort of for the fans at this point. I mean, I've seen interviews where he was being interviewed for this movie, and you could tell he really does still love playing the character. He just loves the world of Chucky, and you could tell that, you know, at this point, he's happy to be working. He's happy to, you know, still be doing these movies, and that people still care enough to watch them. So I definitely do really think Brad really does a great job voicing the character still after all these years. And I also gotta say, the gore in this movie is fantastic. I didn't think they had a lot of gore and a lot of stuff in Curse of Chucky. This one, I felt they really went really more intense with the gore and blood. There's some great sequences, whether there's glass falling on somebody or the idea of um, an arm going into somebody's throat, or just a lot of little gruesome stuff that they do in the movie. And I thought it felt more almost like he was going for almost like an Italian horror vibe. And I've seen a couple interviews with Don Mancini where he actually does say that he, especially on this movie, was definitely influenced with the Italian horror, Lucio Fulci kind of stuff. And I could see it. I honestly can. I can see it a lot. You know what? That, and I think the movie does look really good as well. I think the animatronics and the puppets are really cool. I actually, I'm sure there's CGI with Chucky in this movie, but I absolutely was really convinced. I thought they did a really great job with the puppetry, and between the puppetry and the CGI, it kind of felt like I couldn't really tell a lot of times. I thought it was actually really well done. And of course, this is not the most biggest budgeted horror movie. It's going straight to Blu-ray and straight to DVD. This is not, a high-end budget movie, but I thought they pulled it off really well for the budget they had. And, I also want to say the movie's incredibly dark. It goes to very dark places. You know, like, I wasn't expecting where this movie went to, especially the ending. I gotta admit, when they sort of do what they do, and I won't spoil it for you guys, but the ending that they have in this movie, when they ended it the way they did, I was in shock. I was like, wow, they are actually going there. This is interesting. And you know what? They absolutely set up for a sequel, and I want to see it. And Don Mancini has said that he's definitely almost like almost 100% fit, knows what the story of part 8 is. He knows what it is at this point. And for me, I'm down for it. I really am. Because, you know, I think people are gonna really like this movie, but I think they're also gonna be very hesitant about it. Because a there is a plot point in the movie dealing with Chucky, and I don't want to say what that plot point is, but the idea that there's more hopping into different dolls and everything like that, and some people are gonna like it, some people aren't. I actually was okay with it. I think it was kind of nice to change it up a little bit and mix it up, and I'm okay with the absurdity of Chucky. You have to remember, Chucky's a small doll, and he's got a personality. Yes, this is a slasher movie, and yes, it goes to dark places, as I say, but it's also funny. And Chucky is doing little quips, and he's being sort of his you know, kind of sadistic sense of humor. But it works. And it works because we're so used to Chucky at this point. We've had 6 other films. You know how Chucky is. He was making quips and everything in the first Child's Play movie. Maybe not as much as he has in the later ones, but he still was doing that. So, he's always been this way. He's always had a great personality. And I gotta admit, I like when my slasher villains have some sort of personality. They don't always have to have like amazing personality, but a little bit goes a long way for me. And I feel like Chucky has it in spades, and I really enjoy that a lot. And you know what? I just want to say that the fact that we've gotten to 7 films in this franchise without a reboot is really remarkable. I sort of wrote something down that if you really think of the heavyweights of horror, Freddy Krueger, if you include Freddy vs. Jason as sort of an extension of Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, then Freddy's got 7 films. I don't include New Nightmare in there because that's not really a continuation of the storyline. It's more of like sort of a play on reality type of thing. Freddy's got 7 films. Leatherface has been rebooted to hell and back, and I think if there's any consistency, maybe there's like 2 or 3 films worth of continuity, and that's it. Jason, if you include Freddy vs. Jason, he's got 11 films before they did the remake. And with Michael Myers, if you don't include Season of the Witch, he's got 8 films. So, before they ended up doing the whole like reboot remake thing. So right now, Chucky has equaled Freddy Krueger in how many horror films he has. He's one away from basically tying Michael. So, I mean, what I'm saying to you guys is that, to me, I think we should put Chucky in the pantheon of horror icons. I like really top tier horror icons. Everyone else has had the remakes and has the reboots. We're still here with Chucky without that. He survived the reboot and remake craze. He did it. He's still doing storylines within this whole timeline. I really got to give Don Mancini a lot of credit, who has been here from the very beginning. He has written all of the Chucky movies. He's directed Seed onward. This guy is passionate about Chucky. He's passionate about it. There is no one like Don Mancini right now in the horror lexicon. The only one maybe that comes close is maybe James Wan, but James Wan hasn't really written any of the movies. He's really directed, and that's it. And so, for me, I got to give Don Mancini a lot of credit. Somebody who has really stuck with this franchise, written every installment, has become the director, has really shepherded Chucky into this great horror icon that he is. I absolutely recommend Cult of Chucky to you guys. I know some of you aren't really going to like it, but for me, who has sort of really loved this franchise and really feel that Chucky has really come into his own as one of the top tier horror icons, I'm just happy to see more installments in the franchise, and I can't wait, hopefully within the next couple years, to get another installment. So, absolutely, I recommend it to you guys 100%. And that'll do it for Netflix Nights number 22. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I actually have to go and take care of my Chucky problem. So I'm going to do that, and I will see you guys next time for another Netflix Nights. Take care, guys.